We're back in the studio with Bri Solomon, a teacher at the International School of Chonburi and former Orlando resident. Welcome, Bri.
Hey, what's up?
It's great to have you here today.
It's good to be here.
We had a rough weekend, didn't we?
Oh my goodness, so busy.
Yeah.
So busy.
Just off of the divorce sale, and Bri was one of our starring roles in it, and if you got a chance to see it, you'll remember her for sure.
Oh my goodness, there's no way you couldn't.
Since this is your first time on the air with us, would you like to tell everyone a little bit about yourself and what it was like to live in the land of the rat? Oh, and for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, this is how insiders refer to Orlando and Walt Disney World, specifically referring to the Disney head honcho himself, Mr. Mickey Mouse. Bri?
All right, well, I grew up between Massachusetts and Orlando, but I spent most of my summers and some of my Christmas breaks in Orlando. So, yeah, I spent a fair amount of time there, and I know it's the land of the tourists as well. Oh my goodness, you see people dressed every which way. They think when it's cold for us, it's really hot for all the tourists, so it will be, like 80 degrees. American. And you'll see everyone wearing shorts and fanny packs. So it's been growing up in the land of bad fashion. That's one of the things. And the land of traffic jams.
And families and screaming children, because boy, those kids love Disney, don't they?
Oh my goodness, they go crazy. They go crazy.
Now, Bri, you know a little bit about the fun that Imagineers, now this is what Disney calls their animation specialists, have behind the scenes of their movies and parks. Could you fill us in on what a hidden Mickey is, and no, there's no sexual connotation there, and where one might find some of those?
All right, well, yeah, Imagineers, actually, I was lucky enough to have an Imagineer as my grandfather. Oh, wow. So I know quite a bit about hidden Mickeys. There are actually books out now, but back when I was a kid, not a lot of people knew about them. The Mickey sign, the big circle and the two circles for the ears, are hidden all around every park. And they've had them in there since, like, the beginning of Disney.
And in the films.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a lot of fun to go hidden Mickey hunting. Yeah. You go around the parks and you just go looking for these hidden Mickeys that are out. My favorite one is in the Haunted House ride. Oh,
I know where that one is.
Exactly, yeah. You go backwards down this slide, and as you're pulling out, you look at this giant, like, dinner scene. There are people, ghosts, dancing and dining. And as you look, you see a big dinner plate and two dessert plates as the Mickey ears. Yeah. That's my favorite one.
If you haven't experienced the hidden Mickeys, definitely go on Google and Google hidden Mickey, and it will come up with a whole bunch of information, and it'll make you watch Disney films in a whole new way. Yeah, it's really interesting. All right. One thing our listeners might not know about me is that I spent 4 years working for Walt Disney World. This place is a finely oiled machine when it comes to employment practices. As a starter, all cast members, now this is what employees are cleverly called at Disney, from maintenance staff that cleans the grounds right up through the supervisors. And they all must attend Disney University, or DU. Now, DU is an intensive program that explains to new cast members the legacy and history of the Walt Disney World Company, as well as detailing the company's policies and operating procedures. Do you know some of those, Bri?
Yeah, not to be confused with DUI. DU.
You don't want the DUI, especially in Florida.
In DU, basically, you're taught that every cast member is just as important as the next. The janitors and the engineers, they're all taught to give everyone that goes there the best day that they can possibly have. My grandfather, he was an engineer that worked in Undercity, like the city underneath Disney.
We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah, he learned that while working up top, that's what they called, like, the parks, while working up top, you have to make sure that everybody has the best day possible. So if you see a child, like, drop an ice cream cone, you're technically required to go and buy them a new ice cream cone to make sure that they have the best day.
It's all about service. The other thing that's amazing is they streamline what everybody looks like. So you can't have your hair too long. You can't wear
hair too.
Men
no
can't have facial hair. Men can't wear earrings or other jewelry. So it's a very tight ship.
Especially for my grandfather, who has this mean little mouth.
Oh, yeah.
So the facial hair kind of makes him look really masculine. Oh my goodness, those years at Disney.
Now, Bri, what strikes you as the most interesting thing about the Disney's parks when you go there?
The most interesting thing? Well, the most exciting thing for me is the fact that I still go back. I'm 23 years old now, and I still find the same amount of magic that I did when I was a kid. Because it's where I grew up, and still, it just has that aura about it that when you walk in, everything that's bothering you just goes away and you just have the best time ever.
And part of that has to do with the way that it looks. It's so clean and cleanly. You know that they have every 20 feet, they have a trash can. Every 20 feet.
Oh my goodness.
And those trash cans, people don't know this, actually have trap doors in them so that people don't actually pull out trash. Walt Disney never wanted their guests to see the maintenance people pulling out trash. So the trap door opens, it goes down through a series of tunnels that goes underneath the park and then into an incinerator. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I never knew that. That's crazy.
Right through the tunnels. And that's the thing, when you're an employee, a cast member there, as you're walking through the tunnels, which are built underneath the park, sometimes little drippings come down from the tubes we call that tunnel blood on the insiders. Yeah, very interesting. All right, well, thanks for your insights, Bri. We'll be back after a little music to talk a little bit more about all things Disney, and later on give you a chance to challenge your theatrical knowledge with our Broadway Buster Trivia Challenge. Stay tuned.
For the last time,